Welcome to Intaver Institute's Introduction to Project Risk Analysis, Part 6, Resource Risk Analysis. In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can assign risk to project resources and see how it affects project duration and project cost. So in this view, we've Risky Project. In the resource view, we've added worker, and we haven't given them a rate yet because we're just going to look at how we, for the first example, we'll look at how we can affect project schedule. In the project view, we can see we have one activity and it's just got 5 days, so there is no uncertainty. And just if we take a look and if we run a quick analysis and we go to the analysis view and we go to the project summary, there's no results just because there's no risk. However, so we'll go back and we'll go to the resources and we're going to right click and go to resource information and we'll go to the risk. I'm going to enlarge it, mix it, and I'm going to call this resource risk. Resource risk time. And we're going to give it there's a 50% chance that it will occur, and it's going to cause a relative delay of 20%. It's a uniform distribution across there. I'll click OK, and then I'll run a calculation. And if we go back to the analysis view and look at the project summary, and we can now see that because of this resource risk on the duration, we can see how this resource, because it's occurring 50% of the time with a 20% relative increase, it's affecting the overall duration of the project. So in this case, a resource risk is driving schedule risk. Now, one of the things that we can do on that is if we go back there and we add another activity, and we'll call it activity 2, and we'll just link these. And if I go to the resources, and I'm going to go back to the resource, that resource risk, it's still there. We go back to the project. I'm going to add worker to that same activity. And we'll run a calculation. Now, one of the things now is that using one risk, resource risk, but because it's assigned to both activities, it will assign the duration, it will affect, the duration of both of these activities. If we go back to the analysis and look at the project summary, we can start out to see the effect of this risk occurring. And it's affecting both of the activities. Again, if we go to the result Gantt, we look at the program, we can see that same effect is happening. Now, one of the things is that schedule risk can also be a part of cost risk via, obviously, resources. So if we have a resource-loaded schedule and we have the resource worker has a rate of $100 per hour, and we recalculate the project and go to the analysis, we suddenly start to see that there is now the project cost gone from $9,000 to sort of a more likely of almost $9,700, $9,800. And this is because of, if we go back to it, the resource has $100 an hour, and if we look at that, if we look at that in the activity per se, we now know that when it's running that, that resource is applying 40 hours at $100 an hour. We have 2 resources. That's 80 hours at $100. The base rate should be around $8,000. We now, because of these risks, are in expanding the time of these activities. And the project the cost, due to the resource rates, the hourly rate, the unit rate, is now driving up the cost. And that way, not only are we able to put a risk on that resource, and it could be because the resource is not productive or won't be available at certain times, it's also going to increase the overall cost of the project. So that's it for this video. In our next video, we'll take a look more in depth at what we call integrated cost and schedule, risk analysis, and further how we can more in-depth look at risk assignment.